Thanks for staying with us. There's a new angle I'd like to bring in because I think during the break, Toko was talking about stories of people who are raising teenagers now, and when they travel to different parts of the country or different parts of the world, they don't have the strength that we had when we were growing up. And I remember that lots of people have said it, where young kids in Nigeria, today's generation, when you ship them off to a different country, they're not able to hustle it out. I think you said that. They're not able to have that staying power that we had to say, okay, I'm in Greece now, I'm in Israel, I'm here to work, I'm going to go to school, focus. Many of them get into depression. And it could be part of, some have argued, it's part of this soft hand we used to raise them. We apologize to them, and when you do something and you do pamper them, you talk to them, you don't spank them, you have conversations. You know, there's a school of thought that says it is the way we are using this kid's glove to raise these children that is not making them strong and courageous enough to face a new environment and learn to survive. Now they fall into depression because we so pampered them. We're having conversations, we are discussing, we are apologizing, we are, everything. They carry them from everywhere. They don't take buses. They are so pampered. But we had a bit of harsh raising, ruggedness that would make, if you throw me inside any place, I can survive.
We'll survive.
So do you think that could be a factor?
One of the things I think may be the issue is there's this thing about fairness we're trying to give our children. Make sure everything is fair. When you're a child, it's not fair, it's not fair. When I was growing up, it's not fair, and so what? But now I want to make sure that, is it fair for my child? Is it fair for my child? But then the child is going to go out into an unfair world. And the child is now going to be lost because there's no mommy or daddy fighting your fairness. You now have to fight for your fairness. And you're in a world where people are like, who the hell is so? If you think it's fair, I want this. And then, unless that child has the skills or has been taught to, just push through, even when things are unfair, or recognizing that in this world, it is unfair, but it does not mean that you can also make your way.
Exactly.
Now, I feel that our generation of parents, or a bit before us, we haven't really done that for this generation. They just feel that life is supposed to be easy for them. So once they leave this comfortable space and they go, it's not comfortable, please, I want to come back. There's no need. Recently, I was talking to a relative. He's finished school. So I said, do you want to work? And I've heard it more than 2 or 3 people. He says, I don't want to work. He says, please tell me, why do I need to work? Why should I want to work? Why should I want to leave a place, go and spend hours doing something I don't enjoy just because I really, my dream is to be able to stay at home and have money. If I can do that, I don't want to work. And it's not the first person, second person, or third person I've heard say that. So what they want is, and yes, for whatever reason, the money they want, and they're not looking for the big mansions that we were looking for. We were waiting for when I grew up, I want to buy my mother a mansion, and then I'll buy this mansion and I'll buy this yacht. They don't want it. They want to live, at least for many of the ones I've seen, they want enough money that they can live a comfortable life. I get up, get in a bus or in a train or a small car that I have, be comfortable. So if this is all that I need to do, I can be on my phone doing my social media, getting the change that I need. I'm not looking to build this whole
the ambition
mansion.
Level is different.
So those are the things that I'm saying.
Let me take Grace calling from Abuja. Thanks for calling. You're live. Grace.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Go ahead, please.
I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
So happy to be able to speak this morning. So my contribution is that I think we should not mix raising up a moral child and pampering a child. If you want to pamper your child, that's a different thing. And if you are raising a morally upright child, that's a different thing. Apologizing on the child is a different thing. If you make a mistake, you are intentional. I think it all goes down to being intentional about your parenting. If you make a mistake with your child, you're asking yourself, why am I apologizing? Am I apologizing to send the right message to this child? That when you go do something wrong, you can own it. You can tell that, okay, this is what I've done is wrong, and then move ahead from that. Or am I just doing it because the child is uncomfortable, the child is whining, the child is crying, so I just have to apologize. So I think being very intentional about our actions with kids really matters. If you are taking a child to school, for instance, using car, we can park one of the day and tell the child, okay, we're crossing the road. I'm teaching you how to cross. That's how to be intentional. You teach the child to take up responsibility, not because you cannot afford it. Sometimes it just boils down to being very intentional with kids.
Thank you very much,
give
Grace.
a child a soft life. Yeah. Thank you.
Grace. You know, I was going to bring in an angle, and I'm using myself as an example. Because of the knowledge we've had, and I've been here 12 years, we learn, we relearn, and unlearn things. I've tried to raise my child in a certain way, you know, to have that conversations. Now, I have a spouse who doesn't even see the things that way, because he likes the traditional way of raising children. But you know what I have observed? My daughter is 13 years old, and even though I have tried to raise her with conversations, I see that there's a kind of respect she has for her father, which I wouldn't say I desire, but because she sees me as, please, mom, whatever. You know, I tell her to do something, she already squeezing her face, she's squeezing, you know, getting upset. But daddy tells her once, she jumps twice. Because he doesn't have the, let's talk about it, how are you feeling, what can I do to make it better, all that thing that we were trying to do to get them to converse with us. I did that. But here I am, she's 13 years old, I'm saying, please go and wash the dishes, and she's squeezing her face.
But that's the balance that is needed. That's what you want.
But you see,
but if anything happens to her,
yes, who will she come to speak
if
with?
the chips are down, if there is pressure, if there is real pressure in her life, she will call you.
She will also call her dad. Let me tell you something. These kids know when the problem that is appropriate for mommy and the one that's appropriate for daddy occurs.
But it's the balance that you want, actually.
I talk about my dad so much that people don't even know that I had a mom who played the majority of my life. There were things that when they happened, I know when to go to my mom. But when my mom would have, you know, reacted with my sisters in certain way, I know done right to the person who will forgive me whatever just because I spoke. So kids know these things. They know how to manage us as we are managing them.
Yeah.
And you're raising your child. You will know when your apology how you will arrange it. You will also know when the conversation is what is important. You will also know when we are not having this conversation. Imagine when we took the long holiday after Jason and I said, good friend, this holiday we are doing tailoring. I already paid before you came back. We're not talking about it. I registered 6 months. They said we should buy mineral gun. I've paid. And she was like, you don't even want to hear what I think about it. And I said, no. Because if somebody had put me in tailoring, me too, I would have appreciated them for not hearing what I thought about it. She didn't listen. Now, whenever I send clothes to her madam, and I meet her on the machine, I see her clothes she's making, like, she's like, mommy, you didn't say anything. You see these kids, the end will justify the means.
But the parenting coach will tell you that you shouldn't have done that, you should have conversed with your child.
The coach that made the coach raise her own like that. So you see me,
I think that
I don't do those things.
I think it's extremely important that we understand. We keep having this conversation. Mariam said something, and I think it's very, very powerful for parents to be aware of. We don't have the blueprint. You know, and we're not going to be perfect at it. We're imperfect children, adults raising imperfect children into adulthood. So it's a journey of that balance. Yes, you're trying to find that balance. But back to what you're saying about the seeming lack of resilience in the generation just after us. I don't think it has to do with parents alone, because what shapes a child is beyond the parents. There is the parental stage, and then there's the environmental stage. There's the level of information they get. There's a level of mental health knowledge that we didn't have. And what you know sometimes helps you to know. If I say there is red is a dangerous color. You see all the red because you're already conscious of it. So we have a generation of people that are so conscious of mental health and the depression and the challenges and trauma that they spot it more than the way we spot the trauma. They identify it better than we identified it. So it's not about anything the parents did or did not do or the society. It's just that their antennas have been trained with the knowledge they have to spot it.
And they have
Yes. Amaka from Port Harcourt is holding.
Is this Amaka? Are you sure?
I think so. Amaka, thanks for calling your live.
Because we've called Amaka twice.
Amaka, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want to contribute to what people are discussing.
Yes.
I'm somebody like Nema. By the grace of God, I'm an action woman. Then God helps one in training children. some people are so strict that, or some people are so, lenient to children. At the end of the day, they spoil. But you know what? My children, when I'm in the parlor, they go to the room. When I'm in the room, they come to parlor. I satisfy them, but I don't tolerate rubbish from them. So, pampering a child much, I don't believe in that, because when we are growing, they didn't pamper us and we behave well. But children of nowadays, they will say, Gen Z, what? So, let's just train them in a way that would be good for them, good for us parents at the end of the day. We're Africans.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
So I was saying that the knowledge is a whole lot more.
Yeah.
And there's a level of awareness. There are things I did not even see as a big deal when I was growing up. But with the knowledge I have now, it was a big deal. It was a red flag. It was abuse. It was from uncles, aunties, all of those people. I didn't know it was. I didn't see it as abuse because I didn't have the knowledge. The average 13-year-old now would obviously see it as will flag it because they have that knowledge. So we parents we're not even we're far behind the level of knowledge these children have. My child was telling me today that somebody in his class was having a conversation with someone in secondary school, friends with benefits. My husband said, which benefit are talking about? Saying, but Dad, benefits, like flirtatious benefits.
I would say,
flirtatious benefits.
Secondary school.
In
secondary school.
And I'm telling myself, like, okay, fantastic. So we need to start discussing flirtatious benefits that is happening over the phone, and it's important that we realize it. So you might think, they are moving this. We don't want fear in our children as much as we understand that there must be respect, not fear. Respect, not fear. Finding that balance is important. When we send children, we say, the children have gone abroad and they are dealing with the reality and some cannot handle it. It's not because the parents failed. It's just because the reality is hitting them, and it's better for you to get it early. Sometimes you get to those countries, you don't have anybody that looks like you or sound like you. The level of racism shocks you. You are confronted with challenges that you did not expect to deal with. I traveled 2 years ago. Oh my God, I came back. Everybody was like, I said, I have never cried this much in my life. Like, everything was just, my phone would die. The app will not work. They say you don't have credit card. As in, everything was just happening. I was so down on a trip. I'm an adult. And yet, I'm dealing with so many challenges back to back that I just broke down. It wasn't once, it was back to back. So, how do you expect a child to not break down? They are also we as adults are breaking down. We are. We just summon up courage and move on. So
because we learned resilience.
But you know, people are committing suicide today. Adults are committing suicide. How many adults are medicated on drinking alcohol back to back as a way to cope with reality? Many Nigerians are in church as a way to cope with the reality. We are not dealing with it because we don't know how to. So we use Jesus. So, we use mosque. We use drink.
You mentioned these things that you said. The kids of nowadays already know, we don't know. I would, from my own lens, I would have said ignorance is bliss, because that's not what I was focusing on that time. At 9, my business was to, when I come from school, finish my own work, do my house chores, I go and grind pepper for my mother machine. And all I knew was that at least this one was working. I hated the life because there was a customer who poured an entire bucket of beans over my head.
My goodness. For
saying she wanted to make akara with it, and I added water, I made it more. And she bathed me with it. And my mom came back, I was like, I thought my mom would carry fight, because today if somebody did this to my child, I'll be fighting. And my mom just measured beans because she sold beans also and gave me, and I peeled it. And she blended the akara beans and said, take it to the woman's house. And I took it there and she was like, the lesson for today is how to focus on your customer and your business. I was just 12, I hated it. But today, if you bring me any kind of rubbish, you will see the way I'm looking at it. It's not because I have not seen the rubbish. I might not just react. Sometimes I don't even answer you because I think that it's a waste of my energy to answer you. I built it much earlier, but my children will have the conversation from morning till night.
Yeah,
because now there's book for everything. There's name for everything.
They talk about everything.
There's word for everything.
Whenever I come home, my husband say, Okay, they'll give you a new name, Abi. I'll say something. They say, you started, Abi. Please, I don't want to hear
Or to go label for you, is label. There's
Say it to your side, don't come here.
Yeah.
Well, we are doing two different things.
Yeah.
Do your own,
And I
do
feel
my
like
own.
Exactly.
that's
See,
the balance
what-
that you need.
What he's
you know.
doing is, I have my clear family goal. I know what I want my kids to turn out. Your label's fine, but this is what mommy face here. Do this, and you be this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me
You
go
know-
on a short break.
Oh,
I have to.
we are distracted
We're
a lot.
our guest. You want to say something for our guest? 'Cause our guest
Okay.
might be coming in to join the conversation because she just launched a movie that is somewhat related to parenting. So we're going to be discussing her very soon. But let me let you take.
Yes, I was going to say, you had mentioned how different you are with your spouse and how your child responds differently to you. And I think that is a good thing and very important. My husband also says to me, there are sometimes when I say, I would like you to get involved in this, he'll say, no, you don't want that. You don't want the children to be too comfortable with me. You will need the person that once I step in, they understand that it has to be
So
done.
fair enough.
It's a very good balance. I remember my mom, I was scared of my mom, but my mom was a single mother for many years after my dad died. She had to be the disciplinarian, she had to be everything. This lovey, whatever relationship was after we had grown up, and then she could now relax to be mother. So that you are able, for me, it's even a privilege that you're able to be like that. And psychologists have said children act their most, like they are silliest and they are most, like they don't listen around their mothers because they know they can get away with a lot of things. So it's also a sign that you're doing it right.
Okay, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll see if our guest is here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.